the first PMP of 31st December 2021. And I'm sure many will be coming. Many people have exam. Rao, as I never told anyone about your exam, I'm not telling you or anyone else about other exam. Rao, your mic is mute. So Rao joined us in batch 13 and then he continued. He wanted to go through one more time. He joined us in batch 14. And then he said, can I join again in batch 15? I said, no, give exam. There is no chance. If you can, like he was putting it in the context that I don't have time to study, but I can come for the batch. I asked him, yeah, almost 36 hours plus effort is required for 6 days training. How you can attend that? How you can get that time for that? And interestingly, he said to me that maybe I will not be joining for the complete batch. I will come and go. But in batch 14, he joined very proactively, even better than in batch 13. So this is one thing, like once you joined our batch, you are with us forever. So the same thing happened with Rao. So, but finally, today on 31st of December in Australia time, Rao is working in Australia time. So he cleared PMP with all above target. First of all, Rao, congratulations on becoming top 2% of the world and welcome to this elite club of certified PMPs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Amir.
So Rao, first of all, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel blessed. I feel relaxed, actually. It was just like either it's going to be a good start of the year or it's going to be the bad one, but it went good. So I'm quite happy, delighted, actually.
Yeah, I'm also glad that you did, although I was kind of having mixed feelings before you giving the exam. Like last night when we had conversation, I guess it was your 1 a.m., right?
Yep, it
Yeah,
was 1 a.m.
1 a.m. So I was kind of like, yeah, he should be sleeping because in my mind, you must have say 8 hours sleep before the exam. But when you told me that you slept a little before and you are sleeping, I said, okay. I still remember in my PMP exam, I slept for 2 hours. I have been studying for past 6 months. There was no coach or guidance the way I do. That's why you see the people say that if you think something is missing in the world, provide that. I am doing that thing. When I was preparing, I prepared for 6 months. I studied 4 time Pembroke, 3 time Andy Grove, 2 time there was another book Head First, and 1 time Rita. And once I studied Rita, it destroyed my concept. So that's why I decided no one is gonna read the books. If books place those things on me, what about other guys? And in that journey I was able to make a course in which you can clear in 3 weeks if you actually work. If you actually work, that's an important thing. Okay, now so please, this is your journey. You have been watching the journeys of other. Share the way you like it.
Yep. So as you started that, my approach was quite unorthodox. So yeah, so I didn't study that much, frankly speaking. But one thing, I made sure that I go with the foundations, and the foundations for me was more like the lectures which we had with you, the journey we had with you for all the topics. So those were the vital things for me. So I just kept on my basics and the foundations rather than giving too many tests and checking myself and reading the books. I wasn't going into that discussion or that direction. It was more focused one, since I had very less time to manage all these things. So my idea or my concept was more about just go through the notes which I had with you. That's it. If there is some complications, just Google that and understand the meaning rather than opening another thesis or document and start reading it. Because as you said, that the more you read, you will get more confused, actually. So the idea was more around just go through the notes. The second thing was go through the journey videos. And that was the thing which was even I was doing at the very last day. So that was my more focused area. And that's what I will be suggesting everyone as well, that focus on the basics and it will be easy. So I usually don't go with this approach. I study a lot of books. So I was a bit perplexed and confused, as well as I was not confident. But yeah, when the exam came, and obviously if your concepts are clear, as I said, reading your things and matching those things with the practicality or the experience you have, or making some analogy, even if you don't have an experience, if you make an analogy, for example, I was not understanding free float and total float, but I just made an analogy that if my friend is waiting outside for 15 minutes and I have to do two tasks of 5 minutes, then I have another 5 minutes as a buffer or float. So these kind of things, I just make some analogies. So I stick to the basics. That's in short. So that's how I actually cleared. I didn't give much exams, which usually people prepare. I didn't go with many questions, but it was more around that whenever I think about something, I always have a frame in my mind about all the notes I went through, which was your notes. So straight away to the point and always spot on. Interestingly, with this approach, I was able to clear a lot of things in quick time, which is not the standard which you recommend. But I would say that I was smart, which I am not, but I was smart just to go through your documents. That's pretty much. So no books, nothing, just your notes, just your video, and just matching those things with the practicality. That's pretty much.
Analogy, putting that in the context is an important thing. So now let's put a few things in the context. How many mocks you actually did?
So I just gave one mock of 180 questions just to see that do I have a stamina to go through that, which is, again, you will say that it's not a right approach. You have to give more and more mocks, but that was just to test my stamina. And other than that, I always go with the questions which you provided in the slides when you were making a study, or go through those slides which you provided. And then some few 60 questions or 10 questions for particular topics. That's pretty much. So my mock, if I have to summarize, 180 question, one mock, and 60 questions for process and people, two sets probably.
From my new mock set, 60 questions from that. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
What about those 50 questions per topic?
Oh yes, they were very important. Sorry, I forget to mention that. Those were very important.
You were saying, like, I was listening, I said, okay, but you did those 600 questions.
Yeah. Yeah,
even if you say, even if you say that, okay, you did not do mocks, I totally understand, but you did do those 50 question, and the context of those questions, they are more than enough. Even I am thinking from the next from January, I'm going to make them 30 instead of 50. What do you think? What do you suggest? Should I make them 60 or should I make them 30?
It's up to you. Frankly speaking, my strategy was more around that I understand your lectures and your journey. If I understand every single thing what you said, then if I have to give 10 questions, or if I have to practice 60 questions, I have to practice 600 questions. That is obviously going to add value, but the basics needs to be strong. So my major focus is your notes are more important, and then you can go and you can just make analogies with basics of those notes and the practical scenario, and you can answer any question. They would be wrong. Obviously, you will run. Mock helps that, but it depends on you.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the exam day. So you booked your exam a while back for this day, and you were ready, kind of, okay, mentally prepared. Okay, we were going to give the exam. Then we had a last call of the conversation, how you are going to do and all those things. So when you were in the exam, first of all, you give exam in the center, right?
Yes.
You give exam in the center. And how did you manage that time?
It's again a very tricky thing. I finished my exam 25 minutes before the time. So I don't know why it happened or how it happened. It was just like 60
Come
minutes.
again? I need to digest that. How much time before you completed it?
I finished my exam before 25 minutes. Interestingly, I don't know why. So I went with your strategy, not repeating the things again and not reviewing. As I said, the basics needs to be clear. My foundations with you were clear. Though I have made the notes when you were speaking and you were giving lectures, I kept making notes on my copy, which were framed in my mind. So I always remember what was that line, on what page was that line. That's it. So the questions were too quick. Either I know it or I don't know it. Simple as that. But I follow your strategy where you said that if you get confused, just see where you are using polite language, where you are acting as a servant leader. Those kind of things help me as well. So sometimes I miss the concept of the question, but vocabulary and the those kind of things made me understand that how should I answer this particular question. But just to say, it was just like 25 minutes to 30 minutes before I finished the exam. It took me 55 minutes for the first section, 60 minutes for the second section, and the third section took a little time. But I started third section when I was 100 or 105 or 110 minutes, 120 minutes, something like that I had in my hands when I started the third section. I took the break, which you guided. Take the break, have some calories, eat some chocolates, deep breath. I drank water as well. And I was back on my seat before time of that 10-minute slot. So these were the few things which I did.
Hmm.
As you said.
Which area of the exam was more challenging? 1, 2, or 3?
It was scenario based. It didn't challenge me that much. I was getting challenged even in the benefit management plan as well. That was the first topic which we discussed even before the project manager takes part in it. And then I was also getting a challenge where there was a closure of the project, successful closure of the project or issues in that. So it was scenario based challenges. Anything can be challenged if your concept is not correct. That's what I digest or I understand from that thing.
Okay, okay. Which area was more dominated in the exam?
It was equal, hybrid. If I talk in that perspective, hybrid, agile, traditional, all were equal. In agile, mostly the focus was around product owner, development team, and this thing, product owner, development team, and scrum master, or product owner, development team, and the project manager, all revolving around this thing. So knowing the roles of these three categories was very important. So if we have the clarity of the roles, who is responsible for what, who is accountable for what, who is good to consult with, who needs to be informed, and these kind of things. In agile, it was more important. In traditional, it was more around risk, cost a bit, but not with the formulas. I didn't see much formulas. It was just one question with the CPI, and it was confusing question. It was not around the mathematics or calculation. It was more around the conceptual, theoretical concepts. Interestingly, there were questions around the business management plan. There were questions around the business case as well. Even there was a question around the portfolio and program management as well. So there were questions from every single part. For me, I would say everything was equally weighted in my paper.
So your paper was not like that. The team is overly dominated and other areas are not that much dominated. Your exam, as you were telling me a little bit before, so your exam has also other things in there, right?
Yeah, they mixed it. If they're using the teamwork, but then they're using the process part as well, tools and team together. Then if they are talking about the business scenario, then they are also including the team component in that. It was all jigsaw puzzle. It was kind of a mixed thing. So if the concepts are clear, easy to answer. If concepts are not clear, it doesn't matter how many marks have been given. So as I said, that it was just your notes that made the life easy, frankly speaking.
Anirudh is asking, first of all, he's saying congratulations. What mocks did you do? What were your score on the mocks? How relevant were the mocks? And what the Udemy mocks, difficult or the real exam? So although you have answered that you only did 50-50 questions, one complete mock of 180 questions, the new 60-60 questions of people process. So let's just put it in this way, how difficult exam was as compared to my Udemy mock?
Okay. Yep. So Exam was difficult, obviously, conceptually challenging. Uh, um, it was just like if you answer the question at the first time, that's the thing. If you are puzzled, I use your strategy to use the soft skills. So difficulty drops if you use the right strategy. So if I sit into the mock, when I was giving mock, it was difficult for me, where I scored, like, frankly speaking, 63%. I shared with you on that as well. Uh, but that was mock. And then I revised the things. And the last day, actually, the last day where you shared some key points and strategies and some cheat sheet as well, I would say, like that. That actually helped as well, just to revise all those things. So it was just like, um, I was getting help from the notes rather than the mock. So I won't say in my case that giving mocks actually bridge or lift me up. It was more around the concepts refresh was making me move forward. So what I can say, I know every single term which you used in your lectures, in your coaching classes, and everything. Now, whatever the scenario gonna come, I will answer that. I'm not gonna say that, excuse me, that I don't know this concept. I would know this concept. Maybe it would be right or wrong, the answer. So I can't explain the difficulty. It's all about the concept.
Okay. Okay. So another follow-up question from Anirudh. What was your last 24 hours like before exam? How
Oh,
did
yes.
you prepare for? Yeah, please, you go ahead.
That was just like living on the edge, I would say, because I gave the mock on the last day and I scored 62% to 63%. And I was like, okay, if that's my score in the mock, it would be very difficult. But last day was challenging. Even I was revising things during that day as well. And when I say revising, I wasn't Googling something. I was just going through the notes. I revised estimations because estimation came as well. I was revising grids, 2D, 3D, the power interest thing, those kind of things. I was revising the formulas. Just want to make sure that if something comes around formula for the cost or some other formula, I would be able to solve that. Uh, so I was revising all the things on the last day as well. I gave one complete mock of 180 questions on the last day. So you can understand my preparation was not that great if you talk from the mocks perspective. But from concept perspective, I was quite good. But then, Amir, you provided me the cheat sheets, one pagers, summarized information. And when I went through that, then I was actually making sure that I know every single thing what is written inside it. And if I had a confusion, I also asked you about the risk registered, if you remember, and the risk management plan, because I was having a confusion. But then I had a confidence that concepts are clear. Now it doesn't matter what's going to happen in exam. Everyone will be similar because the scenario for everyone will be same and will be different. So it doesn't matter how many marks I've given. Concepts are clear. We all will be on the same page. And that was my mindset. Okay, this is a new thing. So let's give the test. Let's see how it goes. And it went well. I used your strategy. The last call was very important as well with you. I feel blessed that I had a call with you, the last one, because the tricks you told were very fruitful for me during the exam. That if you don't understand anything, forget about it. Servant leader is the concept. Soft skills is the concept. See the polite words. Try to understand how you can be soft as much as you can to manage the team and manage the project and for the benefit of the business or the project. So those were the few things. There were few difficult words as well, where I tested that I'm not good in English. Well, it happened, but then the point was I just understand the context. That's pretty much which helped
If
me.
you are not good in English, then a lot of people are going to get in trouble. If you are not good in English, living in an English country in Australia for a good time, and everyone can see your pronunciation is at least far better than mine. So if you are not good in English, so people are in trouble. So now let me just summarize. Last day he went to the 3 cheat sheets, 1 doc file. Was that important? What to do in predictive? what to do in agile, and then the entire PMP predictive summary, then the entire agile summary. So three cheat sheet, then one video, then the final video, how to handle everything in the final day, and then the call. So these were the final ingredients. Rao, your final advice to PMP aspirants.
Final advice would be focus more on the basics and foundations, which are your lectures and your journey videos. That is my experience. So I'm sharing my experience. Maybe my experience is not valid for someone else, but that is my experience, that I focus on the notes. I had the notes on my copy when I was having lectures, and focus on the journey videos. That's it. That is the prime thing. If you finish that, and then even if you give 1 mock, 2 mock, 3 mock, depends on you, you will be successful. But if you focus on mocks, and your basics are not clear, at least in my case, it would be it won't value me. So that is my personal opinion. Focus on the basics and the foundation first, clear the concept, and then give the test and things like that. And whatever you guide would be the better. I mean, whatever you guide that would be good for the people.
Did any question came on sun model? Like two people had that. That's why I posted last time about the sun model in the in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, there was a question of sun model related, that two teams are working globally and they are using this approach. And the question was more around that they were having issues with the communications.
Yeah.
So would be the
as we put it in the like 2 days ago in the group, sun model is all about 24 hours continuously sport and things like that. So that was cleared in that. Anything else that did not came in the exam? That did came in the exam and we haven't covered in our material. Maybe we can update the material as we are moving forward.
That was the one thing which I actually wrote as well. This came in my exam as well, the sun model, but it was making sense with the name, so you can understand from the name.
Yeah, 24 hours is providing continuously sport globally. So that's we have already covered that thing, and I'm gonna make a video also where maybe today or tomorrow on that thing.
There was
So
just
that
one
thing,
question on that.
but
And
still, even one question we need to put it that and also in the updated material. Anything else?
I don't remember as such anything that I didn't study or I can't interpret. But yeah, that was the only thing I would say. But it was easy as well, just to understand from the English, the way it was written. It was a global project, 2 teams, sun model, and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Rao. And now enjoy your new year, I guess. What's the time there?
It's 6 p.m. I have to go to my friends, and it's a party time, I would say.
Of course, it's a party time. It's a New Year party. It's a PMP party, whatever you want to say. Thank you very much, Rao, for your time. Thank you very much for trusting us. Best of luck for future endeavors. Party harder, but remember, each one teach one. You still have people from batch 13, batch 14, and some of them will be clearing today. They have exam today. I know that. You will be finding out that later on, and but some of them don't have exam, some of them need help. So whoever approach you, Rao is in the PMP aspirant group, you can approach him, you can approach me, and with that, best of luck for future endeavor.